Well, it looks like it's finally here. My most anticipated movie of 2025. It's finally here. James Gunn's DC's Superman. And does it live up to the hype? It really does. It does have some flaws, but Jesus Christ, we're finally here. I am so happy. Now, just to get off the bat with this, I think this is one of the most perfect portrayals of Superman by far. He is exactly ripped straight from the comics, and I could tell James Gunn cares about Superman. He cares about him as a character, he cares about what he embodies, what he stands for, what he represents, and it's honestly amazing. I love the fact that in this movie, Superman saves everyone he can. Good guys, bad guys, he even saves squirrels. If that's not Superman, I don't know what is. I love the fact that, like, the initial conflict, everything that started off this movie with the war in Barovia and all the Lex Luthor stuff was created because Lex knew that Superman wanted to save lives. The big fight with him and Lois at the beginning of the film is because he cares so much about life, the fact that he wants to save everyone, and it's just amazing. And I'll just say this with all the other characters like this, David Cornsweet, Rachel Brosnahan, and Nicholas Hoult, they carry this film. The acting on them is amazing. I really wish that Lois had more stuff to do. And, okay, not more stuff to do. She does a lot of stuff. But I wish she had more scenes with Clark, because she only has a few scenes, and I really think they work really well together. And I think it might be, like, my favorite portrayal of Superman and Lois by far. And I gotta tell you, Nicholas Hoult, I think, might be one of my favorite Lex Luthors of all time. He's not beating DCAU Lex Luthor. He can never be topped. But this one is a madman. Like, he is so dead set on killing Superman. Because originally in this movie, I thought he was going for the whole Superman 2 thing of, like, wanting land or, you know, getting more rich. Nah, man. This man is a D1 hater of Superman, and I love it. Like, at the end, whenever he's, like, he's about to, like, burst out in tears, and you could tell he is so true to nature. It's not an act. He hates Superman, and I love that. He, like I said, he's one of my favorite Lex, and he was putting his fucking ass out in this, man. He was acting his ass off here, and I love it. Along with that, the Justice Gang. I know James Gunn loves these characters because the thing about James Gunn is because we all know him, you know, for, like, the Suicide Squad or, you know, Guardians of the Galaxy, obviously. These fit his wheelhouse of characters to where they're, like, more the wacky characters that they could bounce off of and do stuff. Mr. Terrific was always one of my favorite characters from Justice League and, you know, from my shows. And seeing him adapted into live action, it was pretty cool. He just had all the most hype moments. It was honestly very, like, fun to see him, especially during his fight scenes and just seeing him use, like, his T-Fears with, like, no trouble at all. It was honestly pretty cool. Along with that, we also have Guy Gardner, and I'm not gonna lie, he might not be my favorite Green Lantern. That will always go to John Stewart, but he felt like he came straight out of Brave and the Bold. He was exactly what I wanted Guy Gardner to be. The haircut, he was fantastic. I wish he had more scenes because Nathan Fillion, he plays him to perfection. The only character I wish had more to do and did kind of get shafted was Hawk Girl. She's not the Hawk Girl I know, but still is pretty cool nonetheless. Along with that, with all the characters, like I said, I do think this movie is so overstuffed because I know a lot of people are saying this online, and I do have to agree. This movie feels like a sequel to, like, the other movie that it establishes all this. Because I will say this, for this being a new universe of DC, I do appreciate the fact that we are getting into a universe that's, like, well established with, like, heroes and villains. I do appreciate that. I think that's great. But I feel like there should be more time focused not on, like, you know, the Justice Gang or, like, all these other things to flesh out the main characters of this, you know, Superman universe and, like, his side of, you know, characters. Because, like I stated, I don't think Ma and Pa can get that much time. I think they have a fantastic scene towards the end of the movie, but with characters like Lois and Clark and just, like, I guess the Daily Planet crew, they don't get that many scenes. Like, we like, this is a Superman movie. We see Superman throughout the whole movie. There's like barely like any Clark. And I'm happy about that. I love the fact that we get to have, Superman, being Superman. But I really do wish we got to see more fleshed out characters, because I will admit this, one of my flaws with this movie, outside of it being overstuffed. Because if I'll be honest, this kind of feels like the weakest of James Gunn's scripts here. And I think it's mainly due to the fact that I know James Gunn loves DC. I can tell he loves the lore, the everything about it. But I feel like he just kind of put everything out there, and it doesn't really... I feel like there is a tighter way to do this, or just to take some stuff out. And along with that, I will say, the action in this movie, it's pretty fantastic. I love it, like, to death. I love the fact that, like, the camera can, like, barely follow Superman, and whenever it does, I love the camera work of, like, with the shots, like doing, like, loops and circling, like, around Superman. I think it's pretty cool. It's like the camera is, like, also its own character, like, following the action as best it can. That's pretty neat. I think another major reason why I really love this movie and, like, am able to, like, accept some of the other flaws of this film is the fact that I love how this movie embraces being a comic book movie. Because you could obviously tell, but like after 2008 with Iron Man and The Dark Knight, we kind of lost like the campiness and like, kind of just embracing being a comic book movie. Instead, being like dark and gritty, to where your parents, whenever you went to the theaters, were like, I don't want to go see this comic book movie with these colorful characters. I want to see these dark, gritty, realistic characters that are like super edgy and like don't make me feel, like ashamed to see the superhero movie. It's the same reason why Disney remakes make $1 billion, because the parents and older folk are like, I don't want to be seeing this kids movie. I want to watch a live action movie that looks more realistic and more adult. Because the reason why I love films like the original Richard Donner, Christopher Reeve Superman, and another comparison people are making to this movie, the Sam Raimi movies, is the fact that it feels like a comic book movie. It's not afraid to have these elements and just able to do wacky stuff. Because the thing is with superheroes at large is that they are wacky at nature. They are camp. They are corny. And that's why I love superheroes. The fact that they have these fantastical elements. The fact that I got to see Metamorpho on the big screen is amazing to me. Because I grew up with the DCAU. I love Batman Brave and the Bold. I love comic books in general. And the fact that some movies just feel so afraid to like embrace these elements, embrace these characters, it's honestly just pretty shallow in my opinion. The fact that a comic book movie is too afraid to have these elements. And that's why I love Superman in this, and that's why I love like Guardians of the Galaxy and James Gunn. The fact that you're able to have characters like Starro, the fact that you're able to have characters like Rocket Raccoon, and the fact that you're able to show comic book characters. And I'll be honest, because of shows like Batman Brave and the Bold, that's where I found my love for the Bronze and Silver Age of comic books, and that's like kind of my favorite era of comics in general. And the fact that these wacky elements, the fact that these, kind of like silly themes still work in the movie is honestly pretty good. And along with that is in the war, whenever the kids and the nation is screaming to the world that they are waiting for Superman. And I think it is so inspirational. It's just so emotional to see these kids just raising a flag for Superman. The fact that not even in the Western world, but in the world at large, they are clamoring, they are cheering, they want Superman. And the fact that with a war going on, they are still inspired by heroes like Superman. And I know some people are going to say Superman doesn't come in to save them, it's, Green Lantern and the gang. But it still shows that Superman can inspire other heroes to do it. Because in the film, they're like, we don't want to interfere with international conflicts. But the fact that they come in is because of what Superman can inspire others to do. Not just in the movie, but in life in general. And that's why I love this movie. It just brings hope. It gives people hope. And that one scene of the kid raising the flag saying he needs Superman is one of the most emotional scenes I've seen in all of cinema. This movie is just fantastic. I love everything about it. The plot and the script in general might be a little bit wonky, I will admit. But the fact that this movie has the hope, the optimism, and embodies who Superman is as a character is what I will always take over anything else. This movie is pretty damn good. I really was excited for this, and honestly, outside of a few things, it delivered on everything I wanted. DC is off to a great start in my opinion. This movie is getting an 8 out of 10. Flaws and all, it's super. And honestly, scratch that. It's terrific. That's about it, guys. Don't forget to comment, like, and subscribe. And you know what? I believe the man could fly in this.